be quite hard for Clutch to chase that down quickly. And Sorlag's acid, I don't think the impacts go through the shield, but if he obviously stands on the puddles, then he's going to take that damage. So not quite as hard counter as it might have been as a pick in other matchups, but at the very least, you know, this character, this champion, is so scary in the right hands, and Toxjq has been playing these big body champions for so long already, and to such a good degree. I'd be very surprised if he's not 100% ready for this pick.
Well, there is going to be this edge in that Sorlag and Ranger both have a means to do direct damage to Clutch through his shield, and that's as simple as that. Two varying success rates, obviously, with Toxjq being as stacked as he is already. Full armor, and even with full armor that's not overcharged, 100 armor by an absolute basic level. This is a great start for Toxjq so far. I mean,
even though it is up now though, so he still has plenty of that overcharged health ticking down, and 50 extra armor. This is one beefy robot to take down Silence. Lightning gun coming through, the barrier comes in, he's going for the chase. Oh! Now, that is one thing we haven't mentioned yet. You give Toxjq a railgun and you will be deleted. Always ready to hit those tough shots. Always. Just like that, back to back. Can he make it sound any better?
You were saying. He lands the rocket. Very quick snap on the rail. I mean, the problem is, you've now given Toxjq's aim a champion like Clutch.
He can be careful and go for these shots while completely barriered.
Bear in mind, very good pickup. Speaking of which, he's got that shield wall ready to go already. That 30-second cooldown means that it's quite generous in how frequently you get it back. Silence now heavily on the back foot. He's stacked up as well, so Toxjq isn't going to be able to kill him for free. But with the momentum he's riding in this first round, heads him off near rail.
It doesn't then pick that up for free. You're going to take a little bit of damage in the process. Toxjq's going to realize he's quite down there now. Already been quite a quick round, just under 2 minutes into this one, so plenty of the round left to go. Catches the mid-air very quickly. And a quick strafing left and right. Silence going to keep him alive.
Oh, we can hear Sorlag. Heard a couple of those bunny hops.
Oh, going to attack another one. This is Sorlag, very tanky champion. He's going straight in. He has the barrier. He can afford to be aggressive.
I think is he going to pop it? No, he saves it. And now he's waiting for the acid to tick down, and now Silence is in big trouble. A Clutch with a shield wall. You just can't fight back. You got to wait for the shield to disappear and then go in. But in that situation, it's easier said than done.
So this looks like a perfect champion to player combination right here, because you've got someone like Toxjq that's been playing these big, heavy, hard-hitting champions for as long as I've been watching him play, and now you give him someone like Clutch, newly buffed, newly changed Clutch, just to make him that aggressive, that in your face.
It's a playstyle I feel like in some ways maybe he was always supposed to have, because the shield wall has complemented that so well. And now he's allowed to play that game, but just to the nth degree. Even 75 armor is unbelievable. Going in with the shield when he can still see where Silence is running. It's not going to be a free retreat at all. And he is in a bad situation. He is between a rock and a hard place right here. And he gets tagged by a rocket again.
We'll say, though, narrowly survived that encounter, though. If Silence was a little bit more accurate, he could have taken him down in that situation. But Toxjq just has that raw health, but survived with barely anything at all. So Silence is definitely getting close to taking him down. But this recovery in between from Toxjq just being so dangerous.
Slowly but surely, getting himself back up to healthy. 125 health, still going. Doesn't know that Silence is to the right. Gets that uncontested rail. Didn't manage to catch him off guard. But Toxjq looking to maybe be aggressive. If he comes around the corner, we may see another frag into shield wall.
Well, the arrow comes down, so you can't really take that fight straight away.
Bear in mind, Silence has actually... You're using the shield wall just to not take free damage and to secure the Mega Health too. Very smart. That was a fantastic take. I mean, like, getting hit by a free rail and getting the Mega Health, it's a win-win.
Hourglasses, though, taking him down for 25 seconds, a recovery to 14. Just shaving off that 10 seconds in a match that can be as fast-paced as duels, and they really get down to starting fight. Can be all the difference.
Whoa! Clutch just shooting by right there. Now he's in trouble. There goes the shield wall, and Silence waits for the rail to go down. Obviously, the second he fires the rail, the shield wall goes down momentarily, and Silence waiting for that opportunity to strike, and he got it. Threaded the needle.
That is it, though. Toxjq's Clutch is now off the table. Good couple of rails coming out from Silence. Not quite sure if it's going to connect at the moment to finish him off, but Toxjq still alive with that armor. Heavy armor coming up in a few seconds, but Silence is, yeah, he's here to contest. If he can hit one more rail, he's going to die.
Oh, another chance to teleport to it. I wonder if he was actually going to try to at that last minute. Now Silence down to a Sorlag once again. Toxjq, I mean, still an unbelievably accurate player.
Yeah, Mega Health's going to go the way of Sorlag though. Oh, there's that lightning arm from below. Shredded down quite a lot of health, but not enough.
Yeah, wasn't looking to chase it too heavily. There's the LG, and his health is getting shredded, and another round going to Toxjq.
Toxjq just has that deadly aim though. You can imagine how stressful that must be to be on the receiving end of. You know, rails that you feel like you can't dodge, lightning guns that feel like just home in on you no matter what you do. Like I can imagine, especially when you're playing someone that tanky and you see your health go down so fast. And what an amazing spawn for Toxjq as well though. I mean, looks like they were both quite fortunate there. So Silence is going to get himself the heavy armor and Toxjq. Oh, indeed.
I think he nail jumped a little bit too high. He took an unnecessary rail for that one.
Still very much alive though.
Bear in mind with that ticking damage, I said that again, with the ticking damage that Sorlag can produce, he's going to be able to see where Toxjq is on the map. That's why he headed him off there.
Oh, catches him on the way over.
Whoa.
Heavy armor up, yeah, there's no way Silence is going to let that one go. Toxjq be able to trade this thing out though, so Mega Health comes through. Silence trying to top himself up with little bits of health here and there, but... Oh, there we go, another rail comes through. There we go, now Toxjq's able to get himself a rocket launcher. This could be quite a deal breaker. He's down there. Next, another rail. Oh, the acid comes out, we can hear it.
And more importantly, he can see it. He can see that Clutch is going in for the kill, and they're going to trade that. Not quite!
Wow.
Alive on 6! He survived, didn't quite get the final tick. Well, actually did get the final tick, but just had the health to take it.
6 life remaining. Toxjq able to keep himself alive despite being so massively down in that situation. Oh, the Raven doesn't quite connect. Toxjq just has that armor to sponge so he can survive that rail.
He's going to have a shield wall in their next fight. She's going to have Ghost Walk, but with that shield wall, he's going to see exactly where she is. They meet in the air. He can still see. Yep, that's it. Is he going to get the rail?
No, he misses it.
Misses it again. Back to back. Silence with a lifeline.
Have to be careful though, Clutch is that big target. You don't have to be missing him. Just as I can say that, she comes up from behind. 20 health left. Quite sure if you can survive the rail. There's that little health left. Oh, misses a shot on a jump padded Nyx.
Looked like it missed
Very
by
unlike Toxjq to miss that.
Looks like it missed by a hair's length. Caught on the jump pad, but being really aggressive. That's a bit of respectable damage, but I guess not enough to dictate that he goes in at that moment. Oh!
Catcher's on the way back again. Through the teleporter, Toxjq hasn't quite seen her yet. Trying to get this barrier back online.
Getting that free heavy armor. As long as Toxjq holds the sheer amount of armor that he's holding, he's able to fight. And wow, point blank does land that rail and just finishes the job. All he needed was a little bit of extra LG and that would have been it.
Makes you wonder if Silence thought he had less health remaining than he did, because Toxjq was quite healthy there when Silence stayed there for the fight. Uh-oh, that could be a problem. Damage off that rail could be enough to sort of cement this momentum once again, because Toxjq's going to pick up this mega health. Heavy armor's going to go the way of...
Oh, from the skies! He comes in from the top! And that's going to be... He's got way too much health. There is no way Silence was going to be able to whittle that down. And Toxjq kind of feel like he's found his niche with this champion. Clutch really lets him play the game he wants to play. Complements his accuracy perfectly. But purely
there
because...
he is. He's wearing that's almost like wooden panels. The wooden age Clutch. Oh, look at that tracking, that deadly damage already. Silence picked up the mega health. You'd never guess by looking at his bar.
Now he goes in for the shield wall just to try and remain a little bit safer, but to be honest, it just feels like right now, I feel like a lot of people, they just don't have this answer to Clutch. I think that he is currently almost running wild against a lot of opponents because he's such a unique champion that demands a specific, you have to really deal with him a specific way. It's that strafe dodge coming into play though, trying to make himself really unpredictable to hit. Oh, that's going to connect. He can take one more, but isn't going to need to. Silence goes down. Heavy armor goes in the way of Toxjq already. 40 seconds in, the first frag is on the board. I think Silence right now, I think he stayed there because he might have thought that Toxjq had a little bit less health than he did. Probably assumed that, well, even though I can't take a rail, if I hit him with mine, I'll get him. Even though, actually, if he even got that rail, he would have still been alive with a 16 HP.
Wow, Tribolt sort of zoning him away. You don't see that every game. Tribolt probably gets the least amount of use of any weapon we see so far.
The extra element as well, bear in mind, in those very sort of, no pun intended, clutch situations where they're sort of like going to exchange rails, and before you fire, you stand still for that split second. When Clutch is standing still, he's going to activate still defense. He's going to take even less damage when he's standing perfectly still, and he'll even win those rail fights, even with his massive stack.
So once again, Silence is put onto the Sorlag by herself. Let's come back. Oh, there we go. A lot of damage coming out from the LG from beneath. Sort of suspending her into that mid-air.
At the very least, Silence was able to stay up top. If he got knocked down there, it's probably going to be the round over because he would have had nowhere to escape. But at least he was able to stay on the high ground.
Her tank is right. That's what Clutch has become. With this maximum armor and health. Additionally onto what he's already got. Uh-oh. Oh, a direct rocket. Ouch.
Unbelievable prediction. Really good. Silence in a bit of trouble again. Looking to really get that rail. So they're just going to trade Rocket for Tribolt at this stage, but with the mega health spawning, heavy armor soon to follow.
Oh, tagged him. The barrier comes up. The acid in response. Just trying to up through heavy armor. It's a good trade for Toxjq.
Ooh!
Oh, that one just grazed by.
Almost hit him. Ever so slightly failed to connect. The danger as well as the champion advantage. We haven't really seen it put into practice that much in this series because of how much Toxjq has been able to just take out all three champions every round. But we've almost got 2 minutes left. And if Clutch can stay tanky, it's going to be very hard to silence.
The barrier. He just picked up heavy armor. I don't think he's going to care too much. I mean, look how little damage that rail did to him.
Gets an amazing trail of the LG and the health melts away. Toxjq gets another round on the board.
Still had hold of his barrier too. Toxjq just playing this so well. How do you shut down this scary, just hulking robot? Just wants nothing more than to just win by himself, especially when you're someone like Toxjq that's just so used to playing these bigger champions. And is clearly used to the champion by now. He's put the time in, and once again, in an exact just mirror of what happened last time, Silence gets hold of the mega health, but loses all of that extra health immediately, thanks to a little bit of machine gun fire of all things.
Say Toxjq getting caught, but again, the second the Ghost Mode comes out, he knows exactly where he is, so it's going to be a mute point, meets him on the other side with the rocket, but doesn't do enough damage to make it count, and Silence gets away. And I feel like that really is, like, you know, we said earlier, I don't think Clutch is particularly anti-meta, but he is very much anti-popular characters. Like, he does such an amazing job at dealing with the most traditional champions that we see picked. Nyx, this crucial key member of every single team comp, but wait on a minute.
Oh, into the air from below, but the barrier comes through once again to save. Even though took all that health already back up to 150 HP
already. But as I was saying, it's a matter of the popular characters Nyx, normally so key to every team comp. Clutch has such an answer for this champion. His shield wall comes back before her ghost walk, which means that when she ghost walks, he's pretty much always going to have it unless you force him to use it defensively. If you can force his shield out before he can use it when he wants, that's when you go in. Speaking of which, the fight begins. I mean, at this stage, he can't even ghost walk. Even if he had it available, he would not have been able to ghost walk there because Toxjq would have been able to know exactly where he was anyway.
But even then, if Nyx is on a team and there's no Anarchy, it's a safe bet that Nyx is going to be coming out first. So you just chuck out Clutch first, and if that happens, bam, you've just started the match off with this amazing answer to the character.
Absolutely. Clutch really kind of looks like that magical option.
Right now, the Toxjq, let's not forget, he is one map up in this series. If he wins this one, he'll be qualifying again 2 weeks in a row. Sunday's playoffs.
Currently
looking very strong to do so. Clean round. And ahead in round 2 as well.
Getting himself 5 extra rockets. Definitely better than nothing.
You can hear teleport being used, but nowhere near him now. Oh, good shot though from Silence. Good follow-up too. 3 in a row. Oh, and the barrier comes through to deny it.
Oh, 100 damage. That's so unfortunate. But Toxjq got to be super careful. He's only got 11. Oh, no!
I had a feeling that was going to happen. Silence needing to go for that heavy armor just to try and tank himself up to bring some momentum back. And the one time he chooses to go, gets that kill. The acid comes through. He's going to die. The acid, if anything, was going to take him out. And Silence gets the kill on the clutch. And Scalebearer comes straight out.
Now we get to see more of Scalebearer. This really, you know, not going into this week. Scalebearer was Toxjq's trump card. This was his character. Will he make it work again?
We'll have to wait and see with 2 minutes. He's about to come down, 69 health remaining.
Hang on, I can hear a bull rush. Oh no, and he's zigged when he should have zagged. If he went right, maybe would have caught him.
Wasn't able to though. Mega health goes the way of Scalebearer. Heavy armor's most likely going to go the way of Sorlag. They're going to boost himself up with the super nail gun. And plenty of health packs lying around as well. But remember, 2 minutes left to go. Toxjq does have quite a commanding leading champion, so 2-1 right now.
Yeah, trying to take out Scalebearer when he's got a very high I mean, I know Sorlag does as well, but when he's got that really high natural health and armor pool.
Okay, he can hear that that's completely missed, so now Silence knows he hasn't got to worry about the bull rush for quite a while.
That's going to be good data.
Toxjq just trying to relocate. Let's not forget that bull rush does only have a 30-second cooldown on it, so it's not that punishing.
Now Silence
Just those big hulking footsteps. Scalebearer, another one of those loud boys.
Coming up towards the left, but obviously Silence does not know yet. Trying to sort of control that middle. If he can control the heavy armor.
Oh, let's not forget though, the longer this map goes on, the more advantageous it's going to be for Toxjq. 1 minute warning, just procs. Toxjq's going to know he has that clock on his side now. Oh, the charge comes out.
Taking minimal damage, but at the same time, he's going to see those damage numbers. So now Silence, at the very least, knows where Toxjq is. Trying to head him off.
Knows he's likely to be run away. All he knows is around there. Toxjq trying to get away. He's getting chased though.
Silence going in for the chase. I think he kind of has to, but he gets the heavy armor, which is the break he needs.
Oh, and the rail. Goes to it a little bit too often. Toxjq picks up that health. 30 seconds. Toxjq is just going to run away for 30 seconds. I mean, he's playing the right character to do so. That damage mitigation on the rush can be everything.
It's likely he's going to have the bull rush at least one more time, but will he even need it? Listening out for him. Can Silence catch him? No, going through the teleport. He has to try and head him off. Silence does not want to walk into a trap. Speaking of which, goes in and gets him.
That was a beautiful read from Silence, though. Seeing that he went through the teleport, instead of chasing him through, he was like, right, from the other end, where is he likely to go? He made that perfect read, and Toxjq fell victim to it completely. This could be a complete turnaround from Silence. He gets the mid-air frag on the rail, and Silence just absolutely outthinking Toxjq at the very end.
I love the fact that that entire sequence began off the damage number tick of the acid as well. It definitely wasn't the damage. I mean,
it's using the champion to its advantage, man. That's exactly what you pick a champion to do.
In that last moment when he needed to chase, he had all the data he needed because he could see exactly where Toxjq was on the map. He knew he'd gone in for the teleporter, headed him off. Toxjq was not ready, and he just did more than enough damage to even things out. Catching Toxjq really early, forcing the shield wall. Toxjq, though, looking really weak. However, the rail's coming out again, and Toxjq wastes no time. Silence gets fragged by the rail very quickly. I mean, 20 seconds in, he's already lost his Sorlag. Toxjq, though, hasn't got a shield wall to save him, and he gets caught again. Silence manages to even things out. 1-1. A much faster round this time. Both players losing a champion each. Here comes that super nail gun, but obviously against the LG, it's going to be very hard to compete with. Oh.
No. Shot from behind. Toxjq losing his clutch, though. That's been quite significant to doing how much of a difference that champion has made before now. We haven't seen much of Toxjq's Ranger yet, for sure. Got something up his sleeve waiting for Silence on this next. Actually, that's actually quite interesting that Silence went for that Sorlag first. Sort of saving this next in prediction of that clutch.
Perhaps the Sorlag was maybe to catch the clutch first, do some of that. If he catches a good spawn, maybe do some damage through the shield. Trying to tread him down. On the flip side, he just made a really good comeback with the Sorlag. Maybe he was just sort of feeling the momentum. Either way, lost his Sorlag now.
Again though, Mega Health coming up soon. Both players looking to position themselves to try and contest for it, but Toxjq eating a rail there. Oh, but dishing one back out in return, going at the very least can get him that Mega Health for free. On the heavy armor control too. Silence with no armor whatsoever though. He's trying to wait for a little bit to spawn.
That's why it's going to be dangerous. And now it's going to be risky to try and command that armor. Yeah, already having to sort of double back. Taking the much safer armor collection.
Oh, a rail. 20 health remaining though. Has to be really careful now. Prioritizing these pickups. Oh, Toxjq sees him but misses the rail. You can see it barely.
Ever so slightly. That was so close to being on the money.
You see him crouching there, trying not to give away his footsteps. He knows he's listening out for it. We see that all too often.
Yeah, but you know Silence doesn't want to be heard at all. 2.5 minutes now.
Toxjq really using the tri-bolt in this fashion quite often, actually. Firing more shots with this weapon than I think anyone else has so far put together.
Wow, Toxjq with the read anyway, even though he's invisible, headed him off regardless. Really nice little take there of the Mega Health. When you find players that catch a really good rhythm in between the two rockets, really sort of almost threading the needle in between the two, taking minimal damage and still securing that really important pickup. Silence did not know he was there at all. Didn't do much damage in retaliation.
Seems like they really are, though, just trading shot for shot right now. Toxjq is in all these ridiculous rails, but it's not quite enough to finish. He goes down. There's the Ghost Walk forced out. Mega Health comes out. Going to go in the way of Toxjq for sure. Heavy armor up as well.
At this stage, he's been able to sort of confirm that. They do trade away again, but Silence taking so much damage. He's always able to get away. Both players able. Nice prediction rocket, but no! The barrier got in the way, but it didn't matter. That was almost a catastrophical barrier to get in the way of.
Back up to full health, though, is Silence, and Toxjq left on this lone scale bearer.
Uh-oh, full speed. Oh, it ends just in front. And he is going to get that Ghost Walk to get away.
Silence down to the teleporter, but again went straight ahead. Should have gone left, but unfortunately he just made the wrong read.
I think Silence's defensive game has worked absolute wonders on Blood Run. It's worked so well. Just remaining hard to pin down. Even though he gets tagged by the occasional rail, he's very rarely point blank. And if he is point blank, he's always got his Ghost Walk if he needs it. Bear in mind, Toxjq hasn't got his clutch. He's not going to be able to find him anymore.
Oh. Planning on giving away where Toxjq is. Oh, again, the Toxjq is just hitting these rails from out of nowhere. Silence is really just running that clock really well right now, just making himself impossible to pin down. Hasn't got Ghost Walk for another 30 seconds, so he's just content sitting here.
10 seconds, actually. Silence can't afford to do anything. Just sit there pretty. Toxjq will lose by a champion limit. Just like that.
That's going to be it. That's the danger. You know, when you have that Nyx left, she can run away like that.
Prepare to fight.
That round 3 goes down in the way of Silence.
I think it's actually looking really strong in the sense that you actually very rarely see people pick Blood Run with the anticipation of playing as much of a slow and calculated game. As we're seeing, normally it's a very explosive map. There's a lot of fighting taking place in the middle of the map. Especially, bear in mind, that's that again, crying out loud. Oh, dear me. I'm self-conscious about it now.
Silence. Just ultimately making you avoid it, which is making you say it more.
I know.
They've planted the seed.
The seed has been sown.
A Toxjq, though, starting on this clutch once again. Looking like it's not going to be quite as fast-paced as we saw before. Still 30 seconds in. Heavy armor. That's crucial. Oh, that LG doing a lot of damage quite quickly though. Toxjq not quite be able to finish it. Silence is just doing an amazing job of just running away though now. Like truly just swap things up. He's just not letting himself fall victim to such aggression.
I think he's quite clearly understood the game plan that Toxjq is trying to enforce. And he's done and I was about to say, he's done everything he can to basically switch it, switch it on its head.
But fundamentally, it doesn't matter what your game plan is. If you get caught without Ghost Walk, there's a barrier and clutch right in front of you. That's going to be tough.
Toxjq catches on, but he hasn't got a lot of health. Very important rail to miss, I think.
Well, good rockets coming out from Silence just to stop him from topping himself up. Oh,
that was a great read.
Shot.
I think that was a really great read. He knew Toxjq was going to be sitting in that blood puddle to try and get the health back. Part of that, I think, is because Silence himself has actually been using that blood pool to get health back regularly.
And Silence, I should say, immediately putting Toxjq down into his final champion. Looking like an amazing map choice for Silence.
Toxjq definitely having to fight for this one, going in for the OG, but the reduced damage! That was a telefrag.
That was wonderfully timed too, seeing him charge towards him, that lightning gun slowing him down, understands that, okay, right, now I'm just going to teleport to him. And even though he does take reduced damage, a telefrag is a telefrag. And for someone of her speed, and I don't think she has a tiny hitbox, but she obviously is a little bit smaller than the others, it seems. For someone of her speed and her mobility, she isn't that squishy. She has the same sort of health values as Blazkowicz.
She does.
Who is, you know, infinitely better at that 1v1 kill potential with his ability. But at the end of the day, the mobility on Slash is fast, very fast. But once again, Silensep starting off with his Nyx that's been putting in so much work. Toxjq starting things off strong with Clutch. Now let's not forget Toxjq did choose this map, so he's probably comfortable on it.
He's deliberately gone into this very specific team composition going with that Slash. And bear in mind, Toxjq is a Quake 4 god. Slash with that Quake 4 movement. On some areas, it does make complete sense.
Question is, will we get the chance to see it?
Only time will tell. Already 30 seconds into this round, nothing's happened yet. But again, Nyx versus Clutch. A very good matchup for Clutch.
Oh, double rails.
Very important to not only actually catch 2 rails, but not take any in the process. Now Silence can be aggressive. He can try and catch Toxjq before he has a chance to stack up, get those weapons. And as I've said that, here comes Toxjq, being aggressive. Opts to pass through instead. Doesn't want to overextend.
Silence is trying to finish him off. Misses the shot though. That could be crucial. Unfortunately, it will not be.
Toxjq actually not immediately going down towards the heavy armor, but it does take it anyway. I wonder how passive this will be, because Clutch is definitely one of the biggest champions that when you catch someone weak, he can get in there and finish the frag super fast. Nyx normally can, but again, not without the Ghost Walk that's normally such a prominent factor that Clutch does shut down.
He does have it up now though. Question is Toxjq can get the chance to shut her down the way he did in the first map. Silence just made this adjustment and playing this runaway game so much better.
Yeah, pokes him with the rail. I think this is gonna be quite a reoccurring game plan, I think. Stay outside of the range and just pick him off with rails from a distance, while at the same time trying to stay as hard to hit as possible. You can see Silence when he's tagging those rails, he's moving all the time. He is never standing still. He doesn't want the trade. The trade will not work in her favor, because the second they trade, Clutch goes in. Toxjq though standing still, so he's taken 64 damage, not 80. That's still defense doing work.
We think that 64 damage that's also being sponged by the armor value itself. Actually not really hurting Clutch whatsoever.
Oh my days! He just flew straight through the air there. He's an intimidating champion. He just flies around, this big angry robot.
Try to pick up on this armor though, we can see just how important it is to have armor in these squishy champions. I can see Toxjq going through,
but without getting the mega health, you can see how much of a struggle it is for Silence to stay on top of how much health Toxjq has at all times, even when he gets himself back up. Just look at the difference in bars, however. That might be enough going in with the shield wall.
Oh, he just picked up the heavy armor too. No Ghost Walk available. Oh, she doubled back. Toxjq, if he was there, he would have got the kill guaranteed. No Ghost Walkers available at all, and now Silence is throwing a lifeline and is alive still.
I think that was a strong read. Toxjq did not expect him to double back, but misses the rail. The downtime means he has to get out of there. But Toxjq looking to command that mega health, and there really wasn't much Silence was going to do to stop it. Not at his health. Oh no, I think Toxjq's looking to secure that heavy armor as well.
He is indeed. There it is, just picked it up, and look at those bars. Look at Toxjq's health. Oh my lord.
We're already 3 minutes 30 into this round as well. It's going to take so much work for Silence to chip away at this brick wall that is a fully stacked Clutch. He's going to have the shield wall again, forcing the invisibility out, but again, Toxjq knows exactly where he's going to be. Heads him off with the rocket, catches 2, but then finishes the job with the rail. Now the pressure's on. But 1 minute 10.
Look at how much hits Toxjq took in the process, and look at how healthy he still is now.
He's caught a fantastic spawn, gets the rail as well. Silence has such little health left. Toxjq, no doubt, probably going to look to chase this if he can hear him.
1 minute warning, and Silence has lost his acid. Wait for a little while, and he has the barrier, so even if he does get caught out, he's going to have that escape option.
Being up by the Mega, but Toxjq has done so much damage, and the shield wall again. It's going to be so hard for Silence to do anything about this. Gets taken down once more. And I mean,
I'm ready to call this game. I don't see Silence being able to take out 3 champions in 30 seconds. If he does, I will be astounded, but it's not possible. Dire Orb does not connect, and Toxjq just sticks to him like glue. And a clean round 1 in the final map today. Toxjq looking super strong. Again, on this clutch, he just looks used to these kind of characters. And on this map, you know, he picked, let's not forget, this is a map that Toxjq picked.
I think it's a good map for clutch, particularly at the heavy armor location, or the 2 most likely locations.
Near the heavy Mega Health and Rocket too, ouch.
The 2 most likely scenarios you're going to have a major fight at Mega Health or heavy armor.
Rocket.
Really good aim on both parts there, but the 2 likely areas you're going to have a major fight in duel on this map is heavy armor and Mega Health. Both locations complement his shield wall so well. If he catches you with shield wall in both of those areas, it's so hard to recover, particularly at heavy armor. There's nowhere to run.
Speaking of those, Silence is trying to strafe his way left and right to get through. The damage numbers through the walls is going to let Silence know exactly where he is. Still running away, just picked up the Mega Health though, so throwing a bit of a helping hand there. Or the heavy armor.
Oh no, just bullies his way into it. Takes the rail as well. And even though he didn't get a frag, that was a win for Toxjq. He's now got the heavy armor. He did a bunch of damage.
They're going to cool down this barrier as soon as possible. Not a huge surprise considering how impactful that ability is being. Mega Health up any second too, and it looks like he's going to confirm that too. Toxjq, how do you shut down a man of this health?
A good stream of lightning gun might do the trick. Again, getting that ticking damage. Giving Silence a little bit of a UAV in effect, but didn't do a huge amount. Didn't really stop Toxjq from taking those 2 big pickups. But that's the main thing Toxjq is doing a good job of, is just staying stacked, staying as chunky as possible. So when a fight happens, he is never in disadvantage, never.
To his credit though, this is the first champion of the second round. Silence is playing this at a much better pace.
I think Silence might have spoiled him, but just didn't start the fight there. They were right next to each other, but they were just looking in the opposite direction. There's one rail, that's the start. Going in for the shield wall, he has the rocket again, gets caught by the LG, still taking a bunch of damage. Not enough to fight. 64. This is the first time Toxjq's been relatively weak this entire map, really.
Oh, the read from Toxjq that he was going straight to the armor. Mega Health was up and Toxjq postponed it. He was like, no, I don't need this yet. He needs to get armor so he can actually fight me. So he went straight to the armor pickup and was ready for Silence.
Just fantastic map awareness. Bear in mind, he's not going to have the shield wall here, so he's not going to be able to track him down. But at the very least,
uh-oh, he's going in for the kill. He doesn't have a lot of health left, but there we go. If anything, it's just scaring him off. Mega Health could be up in a few seconds too, and this is it. Toxjq has complete control over this map. Is Toxjq able to pick up? There we go, yeah, that's his Silence, able to pick up the heavy armor underground. He's able to do so.
I feel like the longer this round goes, the longer Toxjq is going to be able to play this hyper-defensive, wall-based game. Because if he can stay agile here and be hard to pin down, when a fight finally happens, he is stacked enough to win it. He's got more health, he's got more armor.
Oh, wow! For the drill!
I wonder if that was an executional error. Maybe he didn't mean to go for it. I mean, he did manage to track it, but would have done a lot more damage with the rail on deck rather than the drill. You're only going to tick
been trying to style on him a bit. Every day we see that drill put to use, it's mainly just the barrier or bust.
Unfortunately, he has been caught with no shield wall, and Silence goes in for the kill. I think using the drill at the top there definitely was a mistake.
Now we see Slash for the first time in this map. Let's see what Toxjq's got. Let's not forget, Toxjq was a Quake 4 god. Slash does have that crouch slide movement.
Seeing where the trail's gone, it's going to be a nice little where he is going to be. Checking out Toxjq. Here comes just how fast Slash can move around the map. Maybe a little bit ready for potentially Silence, but just look how fast she can get to top speed.
It's a heavy armor, very much still on the map though. It's been up for a while now.
Going in really quickly. Have to remember that her ability gives a the plasma trail, I believe it's called, that speed boost. It's not really the area denial you see it used for in Duel, it's just how much speed it gives her. Just see how crisp this movement is with Slash. Definitely see this guy's played Quake 4 once or twice.
Indeed. Here we are though. Silence has access to Mega Health coming up any second now.
Oh, he's going in for the kill. Meets him in the air. Is it going to be enough? Has to watch out. Both players really weak, but Silence even weaker. And with sudden death on count, he's got to be careful now.
Just picked up the heavy armor, but quite enough.
Oh,
that
no.
was unfortunate, blowing himself up and eating a ton of damage he just picked up from Mega Health.
Maybe quite an interesting matchup. Nyx versus Slash in a sudden death scenario. You definitely don't see this every day. Silence absolutely did not see him. So Toxjq getting that advantage. Going in for it. Yep, Plasma Trail to be super aggressive, trying to head off and almost steal that Mega Health, but mistimed it by a fraction of a second perhaps. Wasn't able to take it. He's going to get the heavy armor though, so again with that 75 health. Slash definitely with a little bit more health and armor than her, I guess, fellow counterparts. You know, the other champions that have small hitboxes like her, but she has got that extra bit of health and armor that they don't have. See how fast he's able to navigate this map.
Oh, that's a good rail. Toxjq opts to get back though.
Look at how...
Making the prediction on the armor? No, not quite there.
Just look at how fast he's able to head her off. The amount of twists and turns Sarnath has as a map, I think Slash does complement it quite well.
Again, using that plasma trail just to confirm these big pickups.
Just to get her there a little bit quicker than normal, really. Here comes Toxjq, super aggressive!
Oh, that ghost walk was so clutch, just narrowly saving himself.
That would have been an unbelievable sequence, but the reactions to go invincible, just immune the whole thing. Silence is still alive, but only just almost hit the rail.
The speed is just immense once you've got that circuit on deck. Look at how fast Toxjq is able to go around and just control these big pickups. Incredible.
Oh, the missed rail.
Connect.
Is that going to get punished heavily? I don't think Silence is going to really poke that. He doesn't want to peek it too heavily.
The Mega Health will be up any second now. He has his plasma trail to deny.
Very useful was that even before he got a shot off, he was able to force it, using the plasma trail to get the speed boost to go behind. Silence looking to go underground instead. Now heading him off near the heavy armor. You're going to see another fight. Doesn't want to overextend too much, but here comes Toxjq using that crouch slide movement to say unpredictable. No!
Oh no! What an unfortunate way for a sudden death to end, just like that. That is unfortunate, but Toxjq, this Slash pickup, look at the speed and the control in which he can just already just administer. He jumps a few times, crouch slides, and that's it, full speed ahead.
We can clearly see that
Need for speed.
Slash, it's all about the mobility. It's all about just how unbelievably quick she navigates this map in particular. She has all this space to build up her speed, and then she can maintain it through these twists and turns throughout the map. But that final suicide, I mean, contests her for most unfortunate suicide of the entire tournament so far.
I think so.
That was in sudden death and after so long, and he's now match point down. Clutch with that super shotgun, and he will annihilate.
Where are you going? You come back.
Wait,
Ooh,
actually, no,
no.
where did she go?
Oh, no, the mid-air rail on the way down. Toxjq, just like that, one champion up already. Sorlag is back on the battlefield.
But for how long? You look at how much stack Toxjq has. He's getting that trail of LG going in for the rocket, but hang on, caught mid-air. The tick damage gonna apply as well, and the acid frags! Still alive, but only just 8 health, 10 armor. Very risky.
That was an unfortunate misplay coming out from Toxjq, though. Unfortunately, threw that one away. Toxjq, though, goes straight back to the stash. You can see the speed. Trying to control this Mega Health already. Misses the rail. Uh-oh, going in with the super nail gun.
He's getting chased. Now Toxjq with that Slash on hand again.
God damn, this guy with a rail gun.
What
Immense.
is that noise? That is loud. And
it is this thing that he's holding on to currently.
I wish he would attack with it again. Here comes Toxjq from the top. The speed.
All the acid spit coming out. That's going to start ticking over. Even though she's super fast, he's going to know where she is for a little while. Oh, popping the plasma trail.
One of the major things Plasma Trail is going to do as well is just that area denial. Very hard to chase her, because obviously the Plasma Trail causes a damage over time area and explodes for massive damage. I don't think we're going to see it too much in a duel setting, but most of the time the opponent just won't be able to chase it down.
Oh, accidentally wanders straight into silence with the Sorlag, but that's the tracking on the LG that you want to see. Toxjq absolutely annihilating that life bar and brings himself one champion away, qualifying once again for Sunday's playoffs. Just like that, it comes down to this final champion. Silence needs to desperately make this comeback happen, or he's going to be out this week and have to try again next week.
Getting the armor on deck, almost ready. I think I could watch Toxjq move around on this map all day. She just flies around.
It's mesmerizing movement. It really is. But it's also so effective.
Oh. Yeah, doesn't quite chase that one down. This is a really tough situation for Silence. He can't afford to lose this champion, otherwise he is out. Toxjq moves on. Ah, and he beats him to the mega health too. Silence though with a little bit of armor. However, they once again are going to meet, but she's so fast.
The speed, you Silence went straight towards it. It was like, okay, right, she's going to get this mega health. I'm going straight to the heavy armor, and Slash already beat him to it.
Caught him off the jump pad, and the sequence of the lightning gun. Toxjq, in quite fitting fashion, the Quake 4 champion will send him through to the Sunday playoffs. Really well played.
Now, I'm super happy that we got to see that, because